This is going to be a beginner's guide to joining the Merchant Marine, to becoming a merchant mariner. I'm going to try my best to give you your first steps into getting into this industry. So right off the bat, we're coming into a very important decision to make when coming into this industry. What department do you want to be into? Do you want to be in the deck department, where you work on the deck, you do the mooring, you do the steering, you do all navigation, work your way up to be the mate, you can then work your way up all the way to be the captain? Or do you want to go into the engine department? In the engine department, you are more mechanically inclined. You want to work your way up to a chief engineer. It's a very whole different ballpark being an engineer compared to being a deck guy. Or are you interested in the cooking industry and you want to be in the stewards department? Very important decision to make, because that will change the path for you entirely in the maritime industry. You have a very different choice to make when it comes to those three paths. In the stewards department, you can advance to a chief steward. Deck department, you can advance to a captain. Engine department, you can advance to a chief engineer. Very different route, very different personalities required for these fields. And you'll just have a very different time on ship depending on which department you choose. Now, to go further into that discussion, the next thing we want to talk about is your approach to how you get in the industry, your education. How do you get the material needed to get on a ship and start working? Are you going to go to an academy? Are you going to put in the years to get into the academy and skip over the whole entry-level experience you will have on a ship? You will start as a student and you will graduate as an officer. Now, that's one way to go about it. Or do you want to go the apprenticeship way like I did? I went to the SIU apprenticeship program. I started from nothing. They taught me what I needed to do, and once I finished the program, I was an able-bodied seaman in the deck department, qualified, licensed, get on the ship, start making money. Or do you want to go the other route and pay for the entry-level credentials you need to get on a ship? Go through a Coast Guard affiliated school or learning facility where you will pay and they will give you the STCWs required to become an entry-level sailor on a ship. Okay, so you have your choices there. There is no wrong choice at all. You do what you feel is best for you. If you want to take the quick steps to start making money on a ship, go right ahead. If you want to take your time and you like school and you want to advance and get to the upper boy, big officer as fast as you can, go through the academy. If you want a little bit of both, do the apprenticeship program. It's a good middleman. You get the school experience, but you get that entry-level experience as well, and you get all the proper training you need. There is no wrong choice. There's nothing wrong with being a hawse piper and starting from the bottom and working your way up. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of the best captains and mates I have ever met were hawse pipers. I fully appreciate it. I love it. They're always good people. Next thing you got to start thinking about is if you wanted to be either a union person or a company person. Now, this is a rather interesting choice because most people, they don't know, they can't see the difference between these two. I'm going to make a full video going over my opinions on each subject here, but I'm going to briefly cover this right now. So, for the union, it's always good because you're safe. You are safe in a place where you don't have to worry about losing your job completely. If you mess up and you get fired off a ship, you go back to the union hall and you get another ship. You have good benefits. You have easy standard lifestyle. The ship kind of holds you at, I don't want to say it sees you in a lower standard, but you can get away with being a little lazier in the union. I'm not saying do that. I definitely don't think you should be lazy in any type of job you have. I just know when it comes to a union, it's a lot easier to get on a ship when you have the union on your background. I know there are older people, and people who are not always so physically equipped to get on a ship, but the union, the backing of the union, they get them on the ship. Now with the companies, you get paid more. But with the risk of getting paid more, you have the opportunity of getting fired. If something gets cut, say if you're working on an OSV and you're shipping, working in the oil industry, and you are transporting oil goods in the oil fields or the oil rigs, and you're working there, and then something happens in the oil industry and the production of oil isn't as needed as it was before. Your pay gets cut. I know this happens all the time. Your pay gets cut, or you are not needed on the job facility and they let you go. I mean, countless jobs in this world, you get cut for who knows, various reasons. With the union, you don't have to worry about that. There's always ships out there and the union will support you. But with the company, you are at the risk of the company and what's going on in the economy. Now, with that being said, like I said, you get paid more. The advancement may not always be there in a company. Say if you are trying to work your way up the chain and you get hired as an able-bodied seaman and you want to work your way up to be a mate, that company might not be looking to hire a mate down the line from you. So they're hiring you as an AB with the intention of you remaining as an AB your entire career. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have the intention of moving up the ladder, you're losing that with the company. With the union, they are highly against you working your way up. They say they are for it. But once you rank up and become a mate with the SIU, most of the time you aren't able to stay in the SIU. There are some ships that have officers in the SIU, but most of the time, after you become an unlisted personnel and become an officer, you usually go to a different union, MMP, AMO, MEBA for engineers. Those are unions that are backing officers and mates and engineers. Whereas SUP, SIU, they're more for unlisted guys. So you just got to think of these couple things here. Union, you have union dues, of course. You have the safety of it, like I said. You have the job board, job opportunities there. And if the industry entirely, the maritime industry, has its ups and downs, very highs and very lows. When I first got into this industry, it was there was a time during COVID, and we were very, very low on mariners. Lots of people didn't come back after COVID and get back on ships. So we were down people hard. So in doing so, the job board was filled with jobs. I went through an apprenticeship program. I got accepted into the apprenticeship program really quick. I went through the program and I got on a job. No rush at all. I went, no problem. There was no problem. I went through the program, got my job. No problem there. I'm starting to notice with this industry getting the people that they need to, the jobs on the job board are decreasing. Slowly, but they are decreasing. It's what it's supposed to be now. There's supposed to be more people on ships. We're not supposed to struggle. We're not supposed to sail with 4 missing men on a ship and barely a crew to sail a ship, which has happened to me before. Missing man. You get missing man pay. But with the industry and how it's going right now, there are more people coming in the industry, less jobs. That affects both union and company. But with union, you still have the opportunity to sit in the hall and wait for the job to pop up. With the company, if they let you go and they fire you, you got to restart the job search. You got to start applying. It's a pain in the ass. Not one is better than the other. Not one is better than the other. Think about that. That is a very important choice to think about if you are going union or if you want to go company. Completely up to you. I know people in both, and they're both very happy. So weigh out the pros and cons. Like I said, I'm going to make a video going very in-depth with the union and company so you guys can make a better decision. At some point, I'm going to make that video. Very important video. So after that is being decided, another big choice to be made is the type of lifestyle you want to live in this maritime industry. What I mean by that specifically is the kind of ships you want to go on, the work that they do, because they all have a different various lifestyle that comes with it. If you work a deep sea, on a deep sea vessel like I have been, you are gone for long periods of time. You get to explore the world, you get to see all these amazing places, but you were gone for long periods of time. I've been gone for over 6 months in a shot, without seeing my family, without seeing friends. It's very lonely. It's isolating for mariners, which is it's a big issue in the maritime industry, big issue amongst the merchant marine and a merchant mariner. Loneliness, depression, alcohol. These are all things you also got to consider. And if you want to be a merchant mariner, or if you're in this industry and you find these issues in your life, and you want to get better as a merchant mariner, join my community, Sailors Connect. I'm trying to get it big. I'm trying to get us all connected and just improve each other. But back to what I was saying. A ship really will differ your life as a merchant mariner. Deep sea is a very different lifestyle than, say, working on a tug and barge, than, say, working on a OSV, than, say, working on a ferry. They are completely different lifestyles, completely different pay as well. If you're working on a ferry, obviously, very easy lifestyle. You might be home every single night. The pay is not nearly as good as a deep sea ship. Obviously. Can't argue that. But the lifestyle is a lot easier. Get on a research vessel. Lifestyle is a lot easier. Pay isn't as good. Tug and barge. Good middleman there. Pay is good. Pay's very good. You get the cramped living quarters. You have a couple people per room. But you might be home every 2 weeks, which wouldn't be that bad. Then, of course, you have something like a cruise ship, where it's more of a party lifestyle. It's a lot more chill work. It's just a very different environment. You're going to tourist locations compared to going to refineries on a tanker, compared to going to windmill farms on an OSV. It all differs. It all depends. Every ship is different. Every ship comes with a very different lifestyle. The ship you choose also can vary on where you want to work. Say if you're working out of Norfolk, Virginia, they have lots of military ships, lots of Navy ships that you can work on. Say if you work down in Texas, they have lots of tankers. They have lots of OSVs going to these oil rigs. There's so many different options. Going to work up in Alaska. There are so many different options in this industry. You have to weigh out everything with every choice you have to make when it comes to making your first steps in this industry. Further into where you can live as a merchant mariner, specifically I know in the SIU, because we only need to work 125 days out of the year, the rest of the year, we don't have to work and we still get the benefits. We could live anywhere. I know people who live in Thailand who fly over to the States to pick up a job and they sail and they go back home in Thailand when they're home. So where you live differs, of course, on the types of job you have, or the types of job you have really can change on how the type of life you want to live. If you get on a tug and barge and you're working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, you might want to live where that tug and barge is, so you're not traveling, because you only have 2 weeks off. So you might not be expecting to go on these crazy vacations all the time. You might want to be more of a homebody. Whereas if you're a deep sea guy and you work 4 months on, 4 months off, you can live anywhere. You can live in Vietnam and then come to the States and get a job, work, and then for the 4 months you're off, you can go travel wherever you want. Or a job where you're on a month and off a month. The rotations of the job, the locations of the job, the types of ship, these are all various things that decide on the type of job, the type of ship you want to work on. So you have to think. Let's take a step back here. The beginner's guide. Start from the beginning. You have to think of, let me fix my glasses here. Keep sliding down my Italian fucking nose. You have to think of the department you want to be in. Deck, engine, steward's department. What are your interests? Do you want to work outside? Do you want to work down with your hands in the engine room? Or do you want to work in the galley, in the kitchen, with food? Big decision there. You can always change that, of course. Where are you getting your education from? Are you going to a maritime academy? Are you going to go through the apprenticeship route? Or you want to go to a maritime Coast Guard facility and pay for it out of pocket? Next, after you get to where you want to be, a mate, entry level, wherever it is, you get to where you want to be. Now you get to decide, do I want to be a union guy or do I want to be a company guy? That's a huge decision. I actually think that's probably the biggest decision there is. You can do both. Of course you can do both in your career as a merchant mariner. Don't think it's life or death, whichever one you fucking choose. You can do both at some point. Start union, work your way to company once you find someone you're comfortable with. You start off entry level in the union, get your sea time, then you go to a company once you find a company that you love and you know that pays well and you have a great time with it. There's nothing wrong with that. You start with a company, realize you hate the fucking company, go to the union where it's safer, where you have better benefits, whatever it may be, that's the decision for you. But that is a very important decision. Next, you go on to the ship you want to be in, the location of the ship you want to be on, the rotation of the ship you want. You want to work on a ship that's deep sea with a 4-month on, 4-month off rotation. You want to work on a tug and barge that's 2 miles away from your house. That's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Do you want to work on a ferry that's down the street from you that you get to come home every night? You want to work in a wind farm on OSVs with a month on, month off rotation. These are all things you have to consider. As a merchant mariner, there are many decisions you have to freaking make to find the perfect place for you. I jump ships all the time trying to find what lifestyle is best for me. Tankers, ro-ros, cable ships, all insanely different lifestyles. The work is different. The rotation's different. The lifestyle is different. It's all about the lifestyle at the end of the day. What type of lifestyle do you want as a merchant mariner? On your journey in joining the merchant marine, what type of life do you want to live? Do it to be happy. Do it to make some money. Do it whatever you want to do. I'm only here to help. That's my job. I'm trying to guide you to where you want to be, motherfucker. You do what you want. Sorry for all this cursing. I am a fucking sailor, by the way. But do what you want. I hope this helped you. Fucking subscribe to this dirty mouth sailor. Join Sailors Connect. Start this amazing journey as a merchant mariner. And let's get sailing.